Late in the night of January 27th, reports emerged from Beijing of sustained gunfire. Unverified claims suggested that an anti-Xi alliance formed by forces loyal to recently detained Central Military Commission Vice Chairman Zhang Youxia clashed with elements of the Presidential Guard believed to be supporting Xi Jinping. Multiple casualties were reportedly sustained on both sides during the exchange. On January 27th in Beijing's Tongzhou district, reports claimed that units said to support Zhang Youxia were advancing towards central Beijing. Additional reports alleged that forces backing Zhang Youxia were moving towards the capital, raising concerns about an escalating risk of internal conflict. Other social media accounts claimed that as of January 27th, main elements of the 82nd Group Army based in Baoding, Hebei Province, the 83rd Group Army based in Xinxiang, Henan Province, the 79th Group Army based in Shenyang, Liaoning Province, and the 80th Group Army based in Weifang, Shandong Province had arrived in or around Beijing. These forces were said to have formed an anti-Xi alliance and established a joint command center facing off against units described as loyal to Xi Jinping in the Beijing area. On January 27th, a social media user in Inner Mongolia posted a video claiming to have encountered military vehicles on a highway allegedly carrying what appeared to be surface-to-air missiles. Users in Guangdong and Shandong reported sightings of J-16 and J-20 fighter jets flying overhead. Groups of helicopters were also reportedly observed in Shandong, Guangdong, and Jiangsu. Other sources said that on January 26, Beijing authorities further tightened security around the Zhongnanhai leadership compound, with large numbers of Central Guard Bureau personnel in black uniforms stationed outside Xinhua Gate. Several Beijing residents reported heavy police presence along Chang'an Avenue near Beijing Railway Station and in the Xidan area. Police dogs were reportedly seen patrolling subway stations, pedestrians were subjected to random ID checks, and traffic and footfall in the city center appeared to decline. What's more concerning is some roads leading towards the Changping district were said to have armed soldiers standing guard. On highways leading to Beijing towards Harbin, signs reportedly instructed all vehicles to exit immediately, while large numbers of military units were seen moving towards the capital's outer ring. All these developments were described by commentators as evidence that a political struggle between Xi Jinping and Zhang Youxia had evolved into a military standoff, marking what they characterized as one of the most significant political upheavals in China in nearly a century. Recent claims circulating in Chinese political circles have drawn widespread attention, particularly allegations regarding the detention of Central Military Commission Vice Chairman Zhang Youxia and Commission member Liu Zhenli. These claims have primarily come from overseas independent commentators Li Jun and Jiang Weizhen, whose accounts closely resemble each other. Both describe the alleged operation as resembling a banquet trap, bypassing the party's disciplinary authorities. According to these accounts, the key events took place on January 19th. Li Jun reported that at approximately 3 p.m., Cai Qi, secretary of the Central Secretariat, called Liu Zhenli on the pretext of discussing personnel and military matters and requested that he come to the general office of the Central Committee. Liu reportedly arrived with only a confidential secretary and a guard. After his guard was directed to a waiting room, Liu entered an office where, according to the account, Ling Zhifen, head of the Central Guard Bureau, led dozens of security personnel in detaining him. Jiang Wangzhen provided a similar story, adding that Liu's guard was escorted to a separate room, disarmed and detained. Liu and his secretary were then allegedly taken into custody upon entering the office. The close alignment in timing, individuals, and methods between the two accounts were cited by commentators as lending them credibility. The reports then turned to the alleged detention of Zhang Youxia. According to these claims, at around 5 p.m. that day, Xi Jinping invited Zhang to a private dinner at the Great Hall of the People, which Xi's brother, Xi Jinping, also attended. Zhang reportedly arrived with his family members and his security staff while his guards were directed to dine elsewhere. During the dinner, Cai Qi was said to have coordinated with the General Office, the Central Guard Bureau, and Secretary Services to detain Zhang's secretaries, after that which Zhang himself was taken to a designated location. Jiang Wanzhen's account added a dramatic element claiming that Xi addressed Zhang as elder brother and said, "Having come to this point, there are some things I must do." Zhang, described as isolated, was said to have been taken into custody without resistance. He was reportedly moved out of Beijing while Liu Zhenli remained in the capital. The episode was likened to a political banquet trap, evoking historical analogies of palace intrigues. The authenticity of these accounts by Li Jun and Jiang Wanzhen has not been independently verified. Taiwanese outlet New Talk News reported on Zhang's claim, stating that Cai Qi allegedly lured Liu Zhenli and that Xi set a trap for Zhang Youxia. An earlier version of events was provided by Canadian-based activist Shen Xue, who cited a retired mainland Chinese officer as saying that Zhang Youxia, accompanied by only 4 guards, was ambushed by heavily armed forces at the Jixing Hotel in western Beijing, with a reported exchange of gunfire and more than 30 casualties. According to this account, special police units under Public Security Minister Wang Xiaohong subdued Zhang's Snow Leopard Commando unit. On January 26, independent commentator Cai Shengkun claimed that more than a month before the alleged detention, Zhang Youxia had confronted and threatened Xi Jinping in person. Cai Shengkun stated, "About a month ago, Zhang Youxia confronted and threatened Xi Jinping face-to-face. While this news sounds shocking and its authenticity cannot be verified, the scene and situation are deeply impactful and foreshadowed Zhang Youxia's eventual arrest. It is said that Zhang Youxia unexpectedly clashed with Xi Jinping in a small setting, accusing him of continuously purging the military and questioning where he was leading the party and the country. He claimed the military's image had been severely damaged, soldiers no longer earned societal respect, and their basic dignity had been lost. This was an unprecedented self-destruction since the founding of the Communist Party." The argument culminated in Zhang Youxia's directly threatening, "If I don't let you leave here today, is that a coup?" Such a dramatic scene is, of course, hard to believe. Zhang Youxia's reported downfall quickly evolved into a sweeping purge across the senior ranks of the military. Within a matter of days, much of the Central Military Commission's leadership was described as having unraveled, creating a leadership vacuum that plunged the army forces into what commentators characterize as unprecedented confusion and uncertainty. Firstly, it is a blow to the stability of the military. Only 2 members remained out of the Commission's 7-member panel, disrupting the chain of command. According to figures cited by observers, 5 of the 7 members, including Zhang Youxia, He Weidong, Miao Hua, Liu Zhenli, and Li Shangfu, were said to have fallen from power. This meant that few senior commanders were left with professional military backgrounds and combat experience. Of the 2 remaining members, Xi Jinping is a civilian leader, while Jiang Zemin is a political officer responsible for party and personnel affairs. A source close to the military said Zhang's decade-long career had left protégés and former subordinates throughout the armed forces, from the ground forces to the equipment development department and across multiple theater commands. His removal was expected to trigger a broad personnel chain reaction, with officers at battalion level and above potentially facing large-scale reassignments or political evaluations. The process was described not as routine reshuffling, but as a comprehensive political review, creating widespread anxiety within the ranks as personnel questioned who might be next. Secondly, some observers argue that the procedures surrounding Zhang's detention did not conform to internal party rules, raising the risk that further purges of his associates could sow the seeds of unrest within the military. Recent rumors have suggested that security authorities have begun detaining officers at the division level. On January 26, an ex-user identified as Liu Zhenning claimed that more than 50 officials from central authorities and the party's disciplinary body had been seconded to assist the military's disciplinary commission. The Post alleged that more than 2,000 officers at the division level and above could face disciplinary action, reassignment, retirement, or investigation. It further claimed that the Central Military Commission had ordered all units to remain on standby, prohibiting troop movements, and warned that instability could be imminent. Commentators said that Xi Jinping's campaign to consolidate control over the military has entered what they described as a fourth phase. The first phase targeted senior figures associated with former leader Jiang Zemin, including former Central Military Commission Vice Chairman Guo Boxiong and Xu Caihong. The second phase focused on officials linked to former leader Hu Jintao, including former Chief of the General Staff Fang Feihui and former General Political Department Director Zhang Yang. The third phase involved restructuring the military's regional commands into theater commands, continuing investigations under the banner of anti-corruption. The latest phase has been described as reaching Xi's own circle of trusted commanders, including Central Military Commission Vice Chairman He Weidong and most recently Zhang Youxia. Observers said that this phase marked a high degree of power centralization while also raising concerns about the impact on military cohesion. The confrontation between Xi Jinping and Zhang Youxia has been portrayed by overseas Chinese activists as a defining political rupture, transforming a relationship between former allies into open rivalry. Chinese political activist Tang Boqiao said sources in Beijing indicated that tensions between the two had persisted for 3 years. He characterized Zhang as one of the few senior figures willing to confront Xi directly, serving as a conduit for internal dissatisfaction. Tang said that the two had grown up in the same residential compound and maintained a close personal relationship that later fractured over major policy differences. Tang said Zhang did not seek the top party post and that their conflict stemmed from differences in values. He claimed Zhang initially supported the 2018 constitutional changes that removed presidential term limits, but later reversed his position, arguing that Xi should not remain in power indefinitely. Another reported point of contention was Taiwan. Tang said Zhang opposed the use of force, believing the People's Liberation Army was not prepared to confront U.S. forces and advocating stability amidst economic slowdown and diplomatic isolation. This stance, he said, was viewed by Xi as undermining morale. On January 27th, Tang further claimed that another princeling general had publicly opposed Zhang's detention, arguing that it violated long-standing informal norms among elite families. Tang said the general's future influence would depend on developments in the coming days. Zhang Youxia, the son of Revolutionary-era General Zhang Zhongxun, has been described as part of the so-called second-generation Red, with long-standing ties to Xi's family. His reported fall has been portrayed by some commentators as breaking an implicit boundary within elite political circles. Tang Boqiao said he was not optimistic about the general's prospects, but acknowledged his boldness, reflecting a mix of guarded optimism and caution. Some analysts suggested that the imprisonment of former National Defense University Political Commissioner Liu Yazhou for opposing the use of force against Taiwan, combined with Zhang's reported removal, amounted to a broader challenge to the princeling faction. Liu Yuan, the son of former Chinese President Liu Shaoqi, is 74 years old and 2 years older than Xi Jinping. He is a key figure within the princeling faction. Liu Yuan previously served as a political commissioner of the Military Academy of Sciences and the General Logistic Department. He played a crucial role in helping Xi Jinping remove Jiang Zemin faction figures such as Central Military Commission Vice Chairman Guo Boxiong and Xu Caihong. Many observers anticipated that Liu Yuan would rise further within the Central Military Commission, possibly even taking the position of CMC Discipline Inspection Secretary. However, Liu Yuan mysteriously withdrew from military and political circles before reaching retirement age. As a potential leader of the anti-Xi faction, Liu Yuan's background gives him significant influence. Commentators have pointed out that the anger within the princeling faction, combined with economic downturn, diplomatic isolation, and military purges, have reached a boiling point. If a successful alliance is formed, it could lead to a top-level restructuring or even more intense confrontation. On January 24th, China's Ministry of Defense issued a public statement announcing investigations into figures such as Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli. While the announcement has been out for over 4 days, not a single military region or branch in China has publicly voiced support for the Central Military Commission's action to clean up corrupting among the PLA's top officials. In over 10 years of Xi Jinping's leadership, several heavyweight officials have been removed, including Politburo Standing Committee member Zhou Yongkang and Politburo member Bo Xilai from the Hu Jintao era, as well as CMC Vice Chairman Guo Boxiong and Xu Caihong, and CMC members He Weidong and Miao Hua during Xi's tenure. In each case, military and political figures have stepped forward to express their support. So why has there been no widespread support following the Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli's incident? Is it because the event is so serious that its consequences have yet to unfold, or are there other reasons? Cai Xia, a former professor at the Central Party School now living in the US, has stated Xi Jinping's removal of Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli completely violates party regulations and has no legitimacy within the Communist Party. Aside from the Ministry of Defense's official statement and the People's Liberation Army daily editorial, the usual levels of support for the wise decision of the party leadership have not occurred. On the contrary, there is widespread silence within the party and military. She believes under Xi Jinping's 10 years of oppressive rule, this silence itself is a form of statement. Other opinions suggest that Zhang Youxia has long held prestige and practical control within the military. His arrest has caused a shockwave, pushing the Communist Party into a highly unstable period. The refusal of military personnel across regions to publicly express support or engage in criticism signals that Xi is facing the most severe crisis of his rule. Is China on the brink of military coup or disorder? This question has been repeatedly raised and hotly debated amidst the storm surrounding Zhang Youxia's fall. Based on the current developments, China has entered a substantial period of political turmoil. This is not referring to street violence or looting, but rather to an irreparable rift within the highest ranks in power. Analysis suggests that while Zhang Youxia has been removed, his subordinates may not sit idly and accept their fate. The frequent purges have led to a growing dissatisfaction within the military, and their silence may just be the calm before the storm. As some observers have stated, Zhongnanhai now resembles an ammunition depot filled with explosives, with everyone holding torches waiting to see who will light the fuse. When pushed to the brink and facing collapse, the only option is to forget all the rules and fight to the death. Zhang Youxia's downfall marks an extremely dangerous period for the Chinese Communist Party, and future uncertainties will continue to unfold.